going to go ahead and continue our media availabilities. We're now joined by Martin Truex Jr., driver of the number 19 Bass Pro Shops Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. We will go ahead and open up for questions. If you have one, please raise your hand and we'll get a mic over to you. We'll start in the back with John.
JohnNewbyHeavy.com. What is it about Sonoma that the drivers appreciate over other road courses? I know when Kyle Larson was in here earlier, he talked about the lack of chaos at like Indianapolis, but also he said it was a more traditional road course where there's a lot more worry about saving your tires.
Yeah, I think, the old asphalt here and the soft tire that Goodyear brings is a really good combination as far as, good speed taking off, a lot of grip. You can really hustle the car, and then, 5 laps in, you're starting to wear tires out and save them. So it's just, it's a lot different than any other road course we go, and then, add in elevation changes and things like that. It's a fun track. It's, it's different than a lot of the newer tracks we go to.
And then as a winner here, do you have a layout that you prefer?
Yeah, I think I thought they were both fun in their own respect. I think, the carousel was a fun challenge. But I don't think it caused enough drama. Turn 7's pretty crazy with the dive bombs and things on restarts especially. And I think, the excitement level for the drama was wanted to be, they wanted to get that back. So both courses are fun, challenging, and tough to win at.
We'll go in the back to Zach.
Zach Sterniolo, NASCAR.com. Martin, curious what your take on the lack of stage cautions is here specifically. We've only had the one other road course this year so far at COTA. How do you anticipate the lack of stage cautions here impacting what we'll see on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think obviously strategy, comes into play more when the cautions fall. Could certainly be a big factor in what happens in the race. But I think, in the past with stage racing, with the brakes, you kind of knew what you were going to do. If you wanted to try to win the race, all except for 1 year, you had to pit and before the cautions, before the stages, and give up some stage points to have a chance at winning. And only one time it was done where somebody won stages and won the race. So. I think now it's just more straightforward. The guys that start up front will have a big advantage. Qualifying will be more important than the past few years.
We'll come over here to Alan and then to Lee.
Alan Cavana, PRN. Your road course finishes in the next-gen car haven't been as kind as they were in previous generations of cars. Is there a direct line you can draw between those things, or am I overthinking it?
Yeah, no, certainly is. Obviously last year, I think as a group in general, we struggled on road courses and really never really hit on much last year that worked very well. And I think this year we're a lot more, a lot closer, obviously, with, we ran pretty decent at COTA, but I wouldn't say that COTA's a great measuring stick for us, or at least for me. I don't feel like I really have that place figured out. But, obviously Tyler in the 45 car was dominant. So we know that the opportunity is there with our cars this year, and where we didn't feel like it was last year. So, hopefully we can be a lot better here last year than we were last year. It was a real struggle for us, compared to years past. So got a lot of new ideas, a lot of different things in our car this year from last year, and I'm optimistic and excited to get out there and see what it's got.
Is there a driver adjustment in the next-gen car on a road course like what you had to do previously?
Honestly, not really. You drive the car as hard as you can. It's still all about the same things. It's about getting in the corner as deep as you can, trying to outbrake people, hitting your marks, hitting your shifts. All the things it takes to get around a road course are still the same. It's just a different car, and we really haven't honed in on how to make it really fast yet.
We'll go to Lee.
Thanks for joining us today. Lee Spencer, CatchFence.com. What are your expectations for the Chicago Street Course, Martin?
I really don't know. Honestly, it's I think it's going to be so dictated by how rough the streets are, how rough the track is. These cars they don't have a lot of suspension travel. They're really stiff, and they bounce a lot. If it's bouncy as I think it's going to be, it could be a handful. So I really don't know, honestly. It's one of those things where, the only experience I have is iRacing a couple years ago on it. I haven't even been in the simulator yet, so that'll be the first thing to tackle, and we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, should be fun. It's going to be different than anything we've ever done, and look forward to that. It's always fun doing new things.
And you and James really seem to be clicking on something right now. I mean, your numbers over the last couple of, at least last month have been absolutely stellar. Would you rather have this off week and then go charging those last 10 races going into the playoffs, or, do you just kind of want to keep digging?
I don't know that it really matters. I mean, I think, we've got a great team. We've got, what we're capable of now, and just kind of have a lot of confidence back that we lacked last year, I think, and in our decision making and showing up to the track and doing things throughout practice, whether it's, strategy or whatever. It just seems like things are clicking right now, and I don't know that an off week will really change anything. We could probably use a few more off weeks before the playoffs if I was going to be honest with you, but obviously we don't get those, so we're ready to go whenever.
Is there one thing you can point to as to why you're, back on that success track?
I think just better cars in general, better cars, better understanding of what we need at these different racetracks. Last year was a big learning curve, trying to figure out what direction to go at certain places with this car, and having 15-minute practices where you're kind of locked in on what you show up with. There's no real time to recover if you show up with some bad ideas or things that didn't work. You have to wait till you go back, to that track again. So just all that learning process and figuring things out has been a big factor for us. And then, I think our cars are obviously better this year as well. Toyota did some work in the off season, and everybody at JGR worked hard and just tried to put all the pieces together. So I think overall just a better platform to work with, and a better understanding of what we need.
Have you found, Martin Truex, this is Rob Albright from PRN, have you found that the sequential transaxle versus the old transmission, the extra gear and the wider tires, the bigger diameter wheels, has it changed the number of passing zones and where you look at as the most opportune places to do that?
No, I think the passing zones are still the same places as they've always been here. Obviously turn 12's the biggest one. That's number one. But, getting in that corner, getting off that corner is probably the best passing zone. And turn 7's obviously another good one. But, honestly, when the tires wear out here, there's a lot of places you can pass. Guys will really start to struggle if you can take care of your stuff. And you can pass in a lot of different areas. But, I think it just changes the speed of the car a little bit around here, different corners, a little bit more grip, and then obviously the shifting's a bit easier as well. So no real worries about missing shifts these days or anything like that. Kind of took that out of the equation. No worry about hurting brakes or anything like that. Just for here, just managing tires is still going to be a big deal.
We're going to go over here to the right.
Hey, Martin. Adam Caravine, RacingRefresh.com. You mentioned next week's the off week for the whole season. It's the only one you get all season. How important is it for you to kind of decompress and get away from racing for that weekend, or do you stay right involved in it for the whole week?
No, I'll be away doing stuff, probably be fishing or hanging out. But yeah, I mean it's kind of easy for me. I try to get away from racing a couple days every week, no matter what, just to keep my sanity. I've been doing this a long time, and talk to James on Monday, talk to James usually Wednesday or Thursday again. So have a few days in there between to kind of regroup and keep my sanity.
We'll come right here in the middle.
Steven Stump, frontrip.com. Martin, going back to your kind of previous run of really fast cars races, it seems like the Dover win was the catalyst for it. As much as it is good cars, do you think it's also, getting the win and having kind of that pressure off of, you're in the playoffs? Do you think that that's kind of led to as much of your recent run as it is cars?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I think, easier when you've won a race, especially in today's format. With getting locked into the playoffs, you don't have to worry about that, and you can just kind of relax and go race and do your thing. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't say it hurt anything by any means, but I think at the same time, just again, having better race cars and showing up ready to go on these weekends without a lot of guessing has been a big deal. Pit crew's been coming around here lately, and we've still had a few hiccups here and there, but it's so important to execute in these races anymore with how close the field is, how hard it is to pass at certain tracks. You got to do everything right. You got to do all the little things right, and we've been able to do that, pretty well here in the past month or so. But really feel, good about what we've done all year as far as speed of our cars and how we've been able to race. You know, I feel like had winning cars 3 or 4 races this year already, and you know, it was nice to get one of them, but we'd like to have more. So we'll just keep working hard on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll go all the way in the back.
Hi, Martin. Tom Zaleski on County Today. You've won 3 times here. How does everything feel now as opposed to your previous wins and the things you want to do to get yourself perhaps in victory lane for a 4th time on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, as much as we struggled here last year, I'm really, you know, kind of anxious to get out there and see what we have today. We've been thinking about it all week. Like, all right, you know, we got a lot of different things in our car this year, and you know, a lot of parts and pieces, whatever. But whole different setup, whole different mindset, kind of more, I think, more geared towards what we used to try to come here and do. So I'm excited to get out there and see what we can do with it, and you know, hopefully we'll find some of that old magic.
Are there any final questions for Martin? All right, we'll wrap in the back with Reed.
Reed Spencer with the NASCAR Wire. Nobody has been more successful on road courses with the next-gen car than Tyler Reddick. Now that he's a Toyota driver, is any of his information useful to you guys at Gibbs?
Yeah, for sure it is. I mean, obviously, especially, I guess, you know, the simulator stuff, and then looking at his data, and you know, everybody was looking at his data at COTA. I guess for us, the benefit is, you know, we get to ask him questions and hear about it. You know, like, why did you do this? Why did you do that? Et cetera. So I think there's a lot of benefit to that for sure these days, and you know, definitely the simulator time as well. You know, we've only raced the one road course this year, so we've still got a lot to go and a lot to do here. But you know, for sure, it was crazy impressive what he did at COTA.
All right. Thanks, Martin.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate your time. Good luck this weekend.